Okay, so our Narayana, Narayana Namaskritya Naram Jeva Vidam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of compass, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God, Narayana, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the Father. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. By regular lessons in the last of Bhagavatam and by rendering it services to the pure devotee, all the distress of our hearts almost completely destroyed. Loving service and the personality of God, who bright with the transmittal songs, as established and irrevocable fact. Om Vajnana Vidandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurupinam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I have born darkness of ignorance, and my sexual masters open my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Strange translation here. Okay, what are we doing today? We have the 4, chapter 26. King Bharajan goes to the forest to hunt. From 11 to 26. 11 to 26. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Everybody ready? After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. Oh, see? Patience is required. Anybody have some?
20. Yes.
You agree patience is required.
I never done it.
Guess what happened this year before the such comes in? Before spring. It's coming. Spring's already here. Okay. Here we go. After this, are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah. After this, he very much fatigued, hungry and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had no appropriate dinner. Then he took rest and thus became free from all restlessness. After this, King Bharajan decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared sandalwood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out his queen. After taking his dinner and having his thirst and hunger satisfied, King Bharajan felt some joy within his heart. Instead of being elevated to a higher consciousness, he became captivated by Cupid and was moved by a desire to find his wife, who kept him satisfied in his household life. After that time, King Bharajan was a little anxious, and he inquired from the household women, "My dear beautiful women, are you and your mistress all very happy life before, or not?" King Bharajan said, "I do not understand why my household life does not attract me as before. I think that there is neither a mother nor a wife at home, but almost like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? Kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me when I was drowning in the ocean of danger, but giving me good intelligence every step. She always saves me." All the women addressed the king, "O master of the citizens, we do not know why your dear wife has taken on this sort of existence. O killer of enemies, kindly look, she is lying on the ground without bedding. We cannot understand why she is acting this way. the great sage Marga continued, my dear King Prachinabhai, as soon as King Prajna saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. The king, with a grieved mind, began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words. Although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife. Because the king was very expert in flattery, he began to pacify his queen very slowly. First he touched her to the feet and embraced her nicely, seating her on his lap, and began to speak as follows. King Puranjan said, my dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts the servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate. That's right.
26 until 26.
Two instructions. My dear splendor maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know that such is the duty of his parents. My dear wife, your teeth are very beautifully set, and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give up your anger, be merciful upon me, and please smile upon me with loving affection. When I see the smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is just beautiful as the color blue, and see your raised nose, and your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me, and such attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress. O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment, as long as it does not belong to the Brahmana caste. But for the servant of Maharaj Krishna, I excuse no one within or beyond these three worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am prepared to punish you. My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without decorations, nor have I seen you so rose without luster or affection, nor have I seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes, nor have I ever seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as the midnight fruit, without their reddish hue. My dear queen, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest to hunt for that absentee. Therefore, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your most intimate subordinate, you should still be very pleased with me. Actually, I am very much grieved. But being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. But where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him? Jai, and the chapter, Hare Krishna. And today we're doing verse
22 or
21.
21. Have we got it?
Yes.
Puranjana Uvacha Nunam Tvakrita Punyaste Nritya Yeshishvara Shubhe Krita Gashvatva Sat Kritva Shikshadam Na Yunjate Puranjana Vacha Nunam Kyakrita Punyaste Pritya Yeshvishvara Shubhe Krita Gasvyatva Sakritva Shikshadam Na Yunjate Puranjana Vacha
Nunam tva akrita punaste Brihatya Ishvara Subhe
Krutagah Svat Sat Kritva
Sikshadandam na yunjate
Puranjana Vacha
Nunam
Nunam Pita Punjate.
Nunam tva krita punyaste.
Pratyayeshvara Shubhe.
Pratyayeshvara
Kritaga Swatma Satkritva.
Kritva
Shikshanandam na yunjate.
Shikshadannam na yunjate. Puranjano vacha.
Nunam tva akrita punyaste.
Nunam tva krita punyaste.
Pratyayeshvara Shubhe.
Pratyayeshvara shubhe.
Kritagas atma satkritva.
Kritva satkritva.
Shikshadandam na yunjate.
Shikshadannam na yunjate. Puranjano vacha.
Nunam tva kruta punyaste.
Nunam tva krita punyaste.
Bhartyayeshvara Shubhe.
Pratyayeshvara shubhe.
Kritaghasva atma satkritva.
Kritva satkritva.
Shiksha dandam na yujyate.
Shikshadannam na yunjate. Puranjano vacha.
Nunam tva krita punyaste.
Nunam tva krita punyaste.
Pratyayeshvara Shubhe.
Pratyayeshvara shubhe.
Kritagas
Atma satkritva.
Shiksha dandam na yujyate.
Shikshadannam na yunjate. Puranjano vacha. Puranjan said. Nunam, certainly. To them. Akrita punya. Those who are not pious. Take such. Buddhitya. Servants. Yeshu. Unto whom. Ishvara. The Master. Shubhe. O most auspicious one. Krita agasu. Having committed an offense. Atmasat. Accepting as their own. Kritva. Doing so. Shiksha. Instructive. Dandam. Punishment. Na yunjate. Do not give. Translation. King Puranjan said, my dear beautiful wife, when master accepts the servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada.
Jai.
And we're not looking at it. Thank you. According to Vedic civilization, domestic animals and servants are treated exactly like one's own
Children.
kids. Who said kids? Our teacher said, they're not kids. Kids are baby billy goats. But anyways, everyone insisted that you're supposed to children. Animals and children are
Time.
punished not out of vengeance, but out of
Love.
love. Similarly, a master sometimes punishes his servant, not out of vengeance, but out of love, to correct him and bring him to the right
Try.
Time.
Point.
Right, thank you. Thus, King Puranjan took his punishment dealt by his wife, the queen, as mercy upon him. He considered himself the most obedient servant of the queen. She was very angry at him for his sinful activities, namely hunting in the forest and leaving her at home. King Puranjan accepted the punishment as actual love and affection from his wife. In this way, when a person is punished by the laws of nature, by the will of God, he should not be disturbed. A real devotee
Thinks.
in this way. When a devotee is put into an awkward position, he takes it as the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Tat te nu kampan, sukshan shamano, gunjana, Evatma kritam vivakam, vidvag vapur bier vidadham namaste, tivita yomukti pade sadhaya bhak. From the Bhagavatam 10:14-8. This verse states that the devotee accepts a reversal of his position in life as a benediction by the Lord, and consequently offers the Lord more obeisances and prayers, thinking that the punishment is due to his past misdeeds, and that the Lord is punishing him very mildly. Very good. You're wonderful. Okay. The punishment awarded by the state or by God for his own faults is actually for one's benefit. In the Manu Samhita, it is said that the king should be considered merciful when he condemns a murderer to death, because a murderer punished in this life becomes free for the sinful activity, and in the next life takes cleared of all sins. If
One
accepts
punishment
as a reward dealt by the master, he becomes intelligent enough not to commit the same
stay.
again. Gross, isn't it? Thank you very much. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami
Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pracharani
Whenever we're talking about kings and queens, we're talking about mansions, palaces, castles even, and there's many rooms. Has anybody ever been to Castle Woman?
Yes.
From the chapel out there, gone inside? Yes. There's 32 washrooms in there. Oh my God. Okay, so there's many rooms in the palace. There's an eating room, there's probably several eating rooms, there's several or dining rooms. There's definitely those, evacuation or bio places, right? La salle de bain, they call it in French, la toilette. And then there's also rooms such as the room for wrath, the room for weeping, and sometimes the king, not knowing where the wife is, somebody has to tell him which room is my beautiful wife in. And if it's the crying room, then there's some problem. Or if it's the room of wrath, that's another thing. Now, let's go to the story of Ram. During the time that he was just about to be enthroned on the throne as a sovereign of the world, and under the Pusha star, just like the next morning. And so everyone was in a happy mood. Everyone was in a great mood because King Dasrath made the announcement, tomorrow my son will be the new king. And people are just going crazy, except for one person, Mandara. Oh God, she thought she'd lose her job. She was the maidservant of Kaikeyi, right? And Kaikeyi is one of the three queens of King Dasarath. So he heard that his wife was in the crying room or the bathroom, bit of both, I guess you could say. And he wanted to know what's going on, what's her mood. And have you ever dealt with people like that? What's going on, honey? And she'll look, the person will look the other way, and then you try to get underneath the situation. What is it? And of course, initially, you're thinking, what did I do? What did I do? Am I the cause of some distress here? Right? So eventually it came out with Kaikeyi. It was actually a great devotee. She was a saintly person. And the mother of Bharat and the brother of Ram. And so King Dasarath was trying to get down to the bottom of the situation, to get down under and explore what's going on. Up here, that term, get down to the bottom of things. Queen's Park. Okay, that's where they make all the legislative decisions for the province of Ontario, right? Right up the street.
Yes.
Good place to be. And one time, this goes back maybe about 3 decades ago, somebody pulled down their pants and put their behind through the window. They call it mooning. So it got into the news, and trying to find out what was that all about. Well, who is doing that? What is the cause of this? And it was Bob Ray, who was he was the premier at the time, and people were asking him, the public, what's going on? Why from our stately, legislative building is this going on? He said, I'll get down to the bottom of it. Okay, so King Dasarath is trying to find out, get down to the bottom of the problem here. And of course, Kaikeyi, who's always been kind of just with him, now had a change of heart, and she had spent time with the wrong person. A big lesson about this, the story from the Ramayana, which is very dramatical, is that you have to watch who you talk to, who you associate with. And so Mantra had given her, filled up her ear with poison, And just a little piece of advice, there's people that call themselves devotees, and there's just a lot of poison coming out of their mouth. No, it's not out of the mouth. People don't speak from the mouth, they speak from this. And we have to be careful about that kind of association. There's a lot of toxic thoughts in people's minds because it's Kanda Yuga. And just because one is a devotee, it doesn't mean you're, let's say, free from this kind of tendency. You might be considered a Kanishta devotee, not a very advanced or evolved devotee. You might even consider, well, this is almost like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You've ever heard that phrase before? A wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah. Going back to history, I should record all these things. There was a woman who came here, she interviewed us. This is when people considered us a cult and controversial and all that, and she came here, and the article appeared in some kind of publication, I can't remember exactly, but we were considered to be wolves in sheep's clothing. Here we are wearing holy clothes, but we have an agenda. So this woman described, she was offered some fruit juice, what we call nectar, and she took it in and she gulped, and the journalist was very, let's say, dramatical about it and all of this kind of stuff. And that's the kind of journalism that was going on at one particular time. It wouldn't happen now. But it's toxic. It's just toxic, when you've got a facade. So anyways, Kaikeyi, she got very poisoned by Mantra, and she made her demands, So the king, it's beautifully written in the Ramayana, how he was trying to pry her open, You know what it means to pry open, with a crowbar. We had somebody, history, I'm just going over history. We had somebody get in the temple where it was summertime, and they got the Lakshmi box. The box was a different one that we have now. It was in front of the middle where, and someone pushed it to the side, brought it to where the mops are, and they were trying to pry it open with a crowbar to get the money inside. Pry open, or when you get a can, or you have a can opener, it doesn't quite work. In the kitchen, you get frustrated, you want something with a tomato paste, and it doesn't quite work, and you just pry it open any way you can. So with King Dasarath, it was hard to do. But she did open up, and she expressed what she wanted. What did she want? She wanted her son to be installed as the sovereign of the world, Bharat, and Ram should be banished to the forest for 10 and 4 years. That's like Old English, 10 and 4. And the third point was he should be dressed in robes of bark. He should just not have comfortable clothes. He should live austerely. So she said, formerly, when you were in battle, you were about to die, and I nursed you back to health. And you told me, when the ever time comes, when you need something from me, you know, please just put in the request. Well, that time is now. So you can imagine. So when he heard these demands by her, King Dasarath, who was already in a retired mode, he fainted on the spot. He said, I can't believe what he was hearing. That Ram, who didn't deserve that kind of treatment, nor himself. He couldn't sit down there dreaming. We ever said that before? It's a dream. So for him, it was a dream to hear those things from her mouth. And of course, it wasn't really from her, it stemmed from somewhere else. Yet she carried the message. Okay, let's go back to our story here. King Puranjan is wondering what happened to his wife. And things do happen when you leave and you go on a trip and you come back. Oh, they painted the walls. Like, say for me, you know, everything, there's always something new improvement. Oh, look what they did in Govinda's. Oh, look at the corner where the Mridungas are kept. Oh, that's so nice, that's beautiful. And then those are the positive things. They say, what are these dirty spills outside the public washroom inside the Govinda's? And that wasn't there when I came here. And, you know, things like that. Oh, that stupid traffic cone is still in that spot. And, you know. Anyways, you see things and things happen while you're gone. Sometimes critical things. But what's kind of unique about this verse in particular, King Puranjan took a humble position and said, I did something wrong, I know it, I can feel it, I need to know what it is, what I did, and I will just I'll accept punishment. You know, it's a healthy attitude, isn't it? Once Govinda Dasi, Prabhupada's disciple, she was on the west coast, then it's Hawaii, she cooked real nice prasad, but there was a problem with it. It was a Kadashi. And Prabhupada got real angry. He was very disturbed. He got really angry with her, and he gave her the sauce, as we say. You know, 5 minutes later, he's just changed his tone. He was just trying to correct her. He was trying to say, it's very serious, that we didn't think about this, you made this offense. And she took it very well. She actually did. So if someone chastises you and they're in a position of experience, don't take it personally. Take it as they're doing it out of love. It's correction. We have some real nice family up in North Bay, and the man there, he works for correctional services. He has a big position there. You know, correctional too. You know, when people go in jail, you're supposed to get corrected. There's a big debate about people being corrected. I went to one place celebrating, was it Holi or Diwali? I think it was Diwali. And it was in a prison, a pretty serious one, near Warcourt, Ontario, and like towards Peterborough Way. And the gentlemen, this is a men's prison, they were all Southeast Asian, Hindu guys. One of them, he was in prison for, I mean, I hate to say it, he killed his wife, chopped her up, put her in a garbage bag, do it at some point. It's horrible, horrible. Another man, he killed a couple of people in the Hindu temple in Windsor, Ontario. And he was very intelligent. The one man who had chopped up the chopper, he knew all of the shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? You know? Anyways, they're there to go for some correction. The problem is, they've got it made. They don't have to work. They got nice facilities. You can have your girlfriend come in and join you and spend a few hours. Like, it's where's the rehab? You understand what I'm saying? Where's the punishment? How will you learn? How will you correct yourself? Some people don't mind staying in prison. It's a lot easier here than out there, trying to get a job. And, you know, it's really questionable how effective is the correctional services that we have. You know? And So it's all for punishment, and devotees used to take it that when Prabhupada would chastise them, they would come out of the room after being chastised and say, oh, Prabhupada just gave me his mercy. You know, like a very healthy attitude. There are reverse ways of, you know, taking this kind of, you know, scolding. This is, oh, I'm never gonna, that man was so angry with me. I'm never going to, he's not my guru anymore. You know, that you can take that course, but generally what we found historically during Prabhupada's time, when Prabhupada would just chastise and chide someone, they took it very well. They took it to, you know, like they say, like a warrior, you know, like Gomer Pyle, you know who he is. And so this is the case here. What will unfold is some of the other events that are going on here, but he felt I'm responsible for the unhappiness of my wife. That was those were his thoughts, which is not a bad position to be in. And so like, we should take some blame, you know, for the unhappiness of the situation. You know. We all contribute somehow. And oftentimes the dynamics are, let's say, if in this room there's a mood that's established that's toxic, you know, one person may set it off, one person may trigger it, and then everyone else picks up on the mood. You know? Or on the other hand, if someone puts in, you know, inserts moments of joy and happiness, cracks a joke, then everyone's in a good mood, right? And this is what happens sometimes. You come into a room, you wonder, what just happened? It's so intense. And people just slowly slide out, not get involved. So what one person does, especially influential people, it will affect others. You know? And so, you know, be careful what you say and what you do. Set a nice mood. Set a mood that's going to be productive. A mood that's going to be where there's thoughtfulness. A mood of goodness, you know. And of course, once in a while, that might be interrupted by some chastisement coming from a corner of the room where it needs to come from, where it's necessary. As long as the chastiser doesn't maintain a sourpuss mood. I'll give you a joke. What do you call a cat that drinks lemonade? A sourpuss. Corny joke. All right. So, you know, Prabhupada was never like that. He would be very much chastising, and he would be upset about certain things. When there was a lot of building going on in India, Vrindavan, Mumbai, and so on that night, or if things were a little bit delayed. And oftentimes they were delayed because suppliers would cheat the devotees. And they were not so used to it. They're not used to being involved in business and dealing with sort of crafty kind of people. And this was a very, really austere thing for devotees. You know, they had a position where they had to make decisions, order materials, and then they might get cheated or just be delayed. People took advantage of, you know, foreigners, you know. And then it would sort of snowball, you know, that effect would come. Prabhupada would be upset that things would be somewhat delayed. He would be sometimes angry. And in the latter years, when everything was so important to him, you know, everything needed to be built up before he passed on. And he wasn't there during the time of the building of the Mumbai, you know, Jew project. But, you know, we sometimes get angry, and devotees took it very well. They really did. Now, talking about the Juhu project, which is a glorious project, it got completed by the American boys. And the Time magazine wrote about it. They wrote about that the American boys and girls had put up this building, this amazing building. And during the time when the movement was at its infant stage, and devotees have learned well, sometimes the hard way, how to get things up and going. And so we live in that kind of world. It's not that easy. It's not that you can submit your resume, or what do they call it? There's a term now for this.
CV.
What is it called?
CV.
CV, your CV, anyways. I'm never good, they always change. Next decade it'll be called something else, Hare Krishna. I can never catch up. And you may not be accepted right away, and you have to submit it to different places, and there's all kinds of conditions. Well, we're considering, we'll let you know, and you're hanging in there, we'll get back to you, and they don't get back to you. But then once you do get hired, it's okay, and then you're dealing with all kinds of other interesting dynamics. Maybe your co-workers are not the nicest people, Some of them are religious fanatics, and they don't like what you're doing. Or they're just nasty and they want to tell about all their exploits for the weekend, Or they're just grumpy people, And they have nothing positive to say. They're not optimistic, So one thing, and I will finish soon. One thing I like about India, somebody had just asked me, did you go to India? Yeah, you were in India, weren't you? How was it? And I said, well, I don't like the trash, and I don't like the noise, and I don't like the dust, and I don't like the honking of the horns. But I like the people, I like the people, and I'm speaking for my heart, I'm going to be frank, People often tell, how's India? Lousy. But I like the people. Because India is a land of optimists. People are industrious, people are forward-thinking. They don't always look at the garbage around them. That's a default. That's that's something should change, in my opinion. But they're optimistic. They get going. They're very ambitious in a good way. And I like that. That's good. Westerners can learn from going to India. And lastly, I'll say this: there was a book. It was called The City of Joy, and it was about Kolkata, and it was a bestseller. And it was about a minister who went there into Kolkata, somebody like another Teresa type person, and he went to make some changes, positive changes. So the person then they made a movie out of it, right? The City of Joy, and about the way life in Kolkata, and it was a secular guy. I think it was a missionary. No. It was the actor was American who played the major role. Swayze, it was Patrick Swayze. So they interviewed him, and he was in India for a long time for the filming, for the shooting of this film, The City of Joy. And maybe you can find it, put it up there. Oh, there it is, yeah. And I don't know who the other actors are, but that's him. If anybody's ever seen the movie Ghost, he's in it. It's very compelling. And
That's Om Puri.
Om Puri, yeah, he's a very famous actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Gandhi movie, and very good actor. And I don't know who the other people are. But in an interview, he was saying that there's a lot of things that we Westerners can learn from being in India. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Those are, in a nutshell, some points. Now we're going to hear from you, and I'm going to sip my hot water. Hare Krishna. Who would like to start? All right, go ahead.
Maharaj, like you mentioned about Kepe and Mantra, so whatever they did, it helped Lord Ram to fulfill his mission.
Yes.
And without their karma, it wouldn't have been possible. If Mantra did not do her job, if Kepe did not ask for the vachan she asked from Dashrath, it wouldn't have been possible for him to do the goals that he said to come on this earth.
Well, yes, Ram, he went through some struggles, to show that the material world is a place of struggle. Prakriti, Stani, Karishati, Dukali, difficult place. Even the Lord put himself into that kind of headspace because he's making a point. The material world is a tough spot. Prabhupada also writes in purports a little bit more about Ram's going through this, but you know, he loves dramas. The Lord loves dramas, and he likes to be in them. He likes emotional buttons to be pushed. So yeah, so there's some struggle there. But it ended up being on a happy note, you know, for the most part.
Maharaj, if someone views it...
Just 1 second, we just have one more person.
No, it's a question for Antarik Prabhu questions. That's why I asked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a follow-up question on what he asked. So should I wait till the next person or can I ask it right now?
It's up to you. You have the question.
She can go ahead because
Okay.
It's related to it and I
Okay,
didn't want
sure,
you to
sure.
lose that chain of thought.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering that if one thinks like this, that whenever someone's mean to someone like Manthara and Kikai and it was karma, it was through the Leela that they were teaching us. But if in the mundane materialistic world, when one is angry towards someone or one has one of these negative emotions, what if they view it as, oh, it's their karma and I'm just doing what Lord is asking me to do?
You're asking about who's angry.
Anyone can be angry. The same way we're saying
And
that
you're asking about how to take the anger.
the person doing the anger can
Okay.
take
The one
this,
who's angry.
the one who's angry
Yeah.
can take this logic and be like, oh, it must be in their karma that I'm getting this feeling and emotion.
No, that's not too healthy, it's not too wholesome. I mean, everybody wants to justify, when you do something that's low level, you want to do something that's not very evolved or, say, spiritual, and you do something like project anger, you always want to justify it. I'm justified in being angry and being cruel and nasty and mean with people. But you have to be a little bit reflective. And it seems to me the king was a little bit, at least at one point he was thinking deeply, deeply about what he just did and what he said to someone. Did you feel really great by being angry? Did someone get corrected? Or did you get angry? I think there's a lot to, let's say, process. But generally, anger is not a good situation to be in, and but it can be justified. Okay? How? When you see someone being abused, Hanuman didn't like what was happening to Sita, he was angry. Krishna was angry with Arjuna. Come on, what's the matter for you? In the beginning of the Gita, Krishna was angry. He was angry. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry also when he heard about Jagai and Madhya, what they were doing. So there's cases for justified anger. And if anger is based on ego, it's not coming from a good place. If anger is coming from the bodily platform, it's not a good area. If anger is coming from the heart, from the soul, then it can be justified. Generally, people shouldn't be angry, but there's places and time for it. So since you brought up about anger, that's the one. It's one of the gateways to hell, according to Bhagavad Gita. And, if somebody's always angry, it might mean they're not having enough sleep. Like babies, they get cranky and they cry. A lot of human beings they get cranky too. A lot of old folks are like that too. They just get very, bitter about life, which is too bad. Usually when you analyze it, it just means they're just not getting good rest. Or they're uncomfortable with the aches and pains of old age. So let's try not to be grumpy. Okay. Any other questions? I mean, I think what we can do is, what are we learning from these verses that you want to touch on that?
Yeah.
Or we have to go back to you.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Please. Just a comment about India. When I went to India last year, this is second year I'm coming from second winter. I almost swear. I almost swear. I will almost say I don't want to go to India anymore. Oh, how can? It's very difficult for Westerns. I'm from Mexico, and we deal with a lot of stuff in Mexico too, garbage and stuff. But when I go to India, it's unbelievable how passion you have. Even to cross the street, sometimes I was there like 15 minutes. And some people come to me, that Maharaj says, people are so lovely. They hold my hand, and 3 or 4, we go together in Mathura to cross the street.
Well, you look like you're from India.
So they hold my hand and we cross together in Mathura. The traffic was unbelievable. So sometimes I have to breathe like few times to say, oh my goodness, I can't feel all this beeping everywhere. I got to plug my ears with something. So yes, India is very difficult for us to go. And I say I'm not going, but I go again this year because Mayapur is inaugurating Srinka days. Oh, I got to see that. So I'm going again to India. But now, as goes, I'm feeling more like welcome with some places people engage me in service and share, so I enjoy it more. And I think it's like that. I went to India, but the only thing I said to Krishna, take me wherever devotion is. That will be happy. I don't have an agenda. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to see. Tell me. So this year I'm going. And I cancelled my trip. I was in Mayapur. I said, oh, Mayapur is getting too much. I cannot handle it. So I didn't stay for Lord Purnima in Mayapur because that is too much. So I was saying, Krishna, I don't know where I'm going. And I cancelled my travel to Vrindavan twice. My plan was going to Rama Temple, new Rama Temple, see there and go from there to Mathura. I canceled it because one of my friends said, so I'm not coming. So I said, oh my gosh, I got to go. And I said, I don't know if I want to go by myself. So anyways, I canceled it very quick. And then I was in Mayapur, and one devotee in Mayapur says, Jonathan, the Padayatri, he's a Padayatri. Asked his God, who's going to Thailand, says, oh, I wanted to go to Vrindavan to spend a holiday there. Said, oh my God, I wanted to go too. And then it was very late. And somehow I canceled twice and I traveled to Vrindavan. I ended in Vrindavan anyways, seeing wonderful and spending holy in Vrindavan.
Thank you, Guru.
My message is when I get to
Are there
Canada.
any points that we like to deal with?
Yes, I was just saying that I think today I will meditate, or during the break I'll meditate upon this mood. Like, you mentioned about this person who was in jail, who chopped his wife, but at the same time was very well versed with all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. And then this reminds me of that shloka as well, like how material life is kadam kadam yat kadam, like there's danger at every single step. So how can I just make sure that I am into the service and also I'm not doing any offenses because of which I can lose the taste and go somewhere else and then fall into the trap, which is very dangerous. So yeah, that example I think just like is very strong inspiration to meditate upon certain mode. Yeah.
Good. Great. Any other comments?
Like Dhruv Maharaj, yesterday we talked, Dhruv Maharaj got angry when his brother was killed.
Yes.
And he forgot all the knowledge, wisdom he had. Maybe the person who was in the jail, something triggered him very hard and he just like...
Well, a lot of times it's mental imbalance, anger issues, anger spirits. Yeah. Anyways, what I appreciate is that the king was smitten by Cupid, but he was caring, because that's what you're supposed to do in a relationship. You're supposed to care for each other. How do you do? Is everything okay? Is something I can do? Did I say something wrong? Those are the kind of things that have to. It's part of life. They have to do. Sometimes, if the girl gets upset, there's something I could do to make. Caring. It's a very big part of the devotee's life. Take a little time to understand what's going on in someone's, what's the mood, why is it like that, try to analyze why things have gone off course, off track. Okay, so I guess that's it for now. It's a beautiful part of the Bhagavatam. Guys, thank you so much.
Vaiష్ణava ki jai.